We're the Con Guys, and this is the Con Guys Show, coming to you straight from the nerdy heart of Hollywood, California.
And this is Jim with theconguy.com.
She's been here with theconguy.com.
Katie here, aka the Con Girl.
Zordon did not want 5 teenagers with attitude.
My name is Derek Sam.
I'm Danae Sams, and that's my brother.
We are your home for news, opinions, and interviews from the world of Comic-Cons and fandoms. Your ultimate insiders for all things con!
Nice.
Yes! I could just watch that
The
all
world
night.
premiere of the Con Guy intro.
The Cleaver cut of the Con Guy intro.
I'm gonna clean it up. I'm gonna get some different video in there and clean it up a little bit. But that was the first run at it.
That was amazing.
That was
That's
so
pretty cool.
cool.
One of my favorite parts in all things con. That was so great. For those of you who missed the reference, who is that, Ben?
Well, that would be on his 90th birthday today. Actually, I believe Mr. Bill Shatner in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, buried alive. Buried alive.
Oh, I loved it. That for those of you who are just joining us, welcome to the Con Guy Show. We're having the Con Guy Happy Hour tonight live. The new intro that we just saw was put together by good old buddy Ben Weaver. Like I almost said something different, but
It's been a week. He's forgot our names already.
Anyways,
Not
this
like
is
you and I have known each other that long, Jim.
I know, well, you don't have to know me long for me to forget your name. I forget everybody's names. Anyways, this is a big week for fans of comic books and comic book movies. We got the behemoth that is the Snyder Cut on Thursday, although Ben got a sneak peek a little bit earlier. And then Marvel answered back with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Friday. In the first part of our show tonight, we're going to be discussing this epic Battle of the Titans weekend. And then in the second part of our show, we preview the 2021 WonderCon at Home event, which is happening this coming Friday and Saturday. There is a lot of show in tonight's show. All right. Who do we have with us tonight? Let's start with Mr. Green Glasses.
Oh, well, Cheeseman here, still celebrating St. Patty's, just here for a few minutes. I won't wear these the whole show. Don't want to blind anybody with these flashing lights, but excited to be back and celebrating post St. Patty's Day. And I'm Cheeseman here, media director of theconguy.com.
And Robin in our intro. That was so good. We're going to watch that intro again before the night's out. All right, Sam Blings.
Roll it again.
Roll it again. Oh,
I don't recognize Derek, by the way. I just noticed. I'm sure you had a pre-show conversation about this, but he looks completely different than the last time we saw him.
Yes, I could explain why, or maybe not. But yeah,
He pulled all his hair out.
I had to cut my hair and shave the beard because Army was back in person.
Oh, you were back. So Derek's an Army reservist, and you were back training this weekend, right?
Yeah, we were back in person, wearing masks most of the time, and yeah, it was pretty great to actually see people again and to actually be able to do hands-on training with stuff, which we have not been able to do for an entire year, which is not really good, I think, for the military. But what can you do?
What can I do? All right, well, introduce yourselves, Samblings.
We're the Samblings.
That's right. we
Oh, gosh. Start that over. Just kidding.
I'm Derek Sams.
I'm Danae Sams.
Yeah.
We're twins born 8 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very rare occurrence.
Mm-hmm.
That took me a second.
Yeah.
All right,
it was-
we have some special guests with us tonight. We'll start with Jake.
Hey everybody, it's Jake from the Jacoba System coming at you from Ohio. I'm happy to be on the show. I'm glad to talk about the Snyder Cut as well as Falcon Winter Soldier and also about some cool new collectibles that are coming out. We'll give you guys a little sneak peeks on.
Nice. And then for her very first appearance here on the Con Guy Happy Hour, the Con Guy Show, Stephanie.
Hello. Hi, I'm Stephanie. I've been friends with Mr. Cheeseman for about 10 years now. I am an actor, writer, creator, and I really love the MCU. And the Snyder Cut made me a little more interested in the DC universe. Although I love Wonder Woman, forever Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah.
But moving along.
I called
She's the only one brave enough to cast me and stuff.
Yes, I always cast Luke in my projects. He's always something.
Wasn't he a zombie in something you guys did?
He was. He was my zombie boyfriend, actually. It's complicated.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's probably
I'm
why
no
you
longer a zombie. I got bit by something.
And last but not least, the magnificent creator of tonight's intro. Who are you?
Magnificent?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
The guy wearing the hat that Jake should be wearing.
It's true.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone, it's me, old buddy Ben. And here with the con guy. Tonight, we're coming to you on that#show.com as well as the Con Guy Facebook page. And are we on Twitch tonight? Twitch, we're going back and forth on Twitch.
Well, we dropped Twitch tonight. We're streaming also on the Scare Guy Facebook page as well. Since we're
Con
talking
Guy Facebook, Scare Guy Facebook. Let's see. The YouTubes, as the children say. And there we go. And we already got people commenting, so I'm happy to see that. One thing, I welcome to our special guests tonight. Stephanie, I'm just meeting for the first time.
Hello.
Welcome. I'm excited to get to hear your thoughts on everything tonight, since I have no idea who you are.
I've commented in the comments on this show before.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
perfect. And then Jake, of course, one of my favorite people. He speaks softly and carries a big Marshall half-stack amp. Look at that thing in the background. Oh, that's some sexy stuff right there. If you're a musician, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
Ben, what's in your hand there?
Oh, this is my red cup.
What's that about?
What? Are you asking me why I'm always drinking out of this red cup, Jim?
Don't we save that for the end?
Why do you always
I have a red cup too.
Well, it's because whenever Ben Cleaver shows up, it's always a party.
It's a party, and guess what else? Ryan Nielsen, who we just saw. Shout out to the Con Guys. I love every single one of you, Ryan. We love you too.
Oh, we love you
I
too.
was just about to say,
He wants the second dance. All right. There he is. Dancing in all his glory.
Dancing. We got so much to talk about tonight, guys. Let's get through these. Cat.
Let
Oh,
me tell you what.
my lovely mother is with us tonight. Sorry, Mom.
Jim is not drinking beer out of that bottle, Mrs.
No,
Fry.
I don't drink beer. Brad, y'all getting all fancy. Wait. Look at the guest we have tonight, guys. Jim Kruger. Do you know who this is?
He's Freddie's brother.
No, this is the famous comic book writer. He has so many things. He writes for Marvel. Jim Kruger. This is the notification. We're going to get you on the show very, very soon. He's an
Did he
award.
write for Superman? Didn't he do some the major DC stuff?
I thought I recognized the name, and I was like, "Wait a second, is this somebody really important?" I mean, every one of you watching is very important.
Very
I want you to
All
know.
right. Also, Jonathan Wilkinson. Hey, brothers and sisters. Good to see you. And then We Be Geeks. So glad to see you guys today. All right. Mike Emke. What's up? Good to see you.
What's up, Matt?
Hey, guys, let me take this opportunity since Mike Emke and the Weeby Geeks, they're partners with us. Like, I'd like to especially thank our partners here on the Con Guy Show tonight. That #show is our video home, as Ben was mentioning earlier. We're also part of the ESO network, which carries tons of great shows, if you guys haven't heard of them, such as The Ring of Thunder, Pop Culture Cosmos, Cigar Nerds, one of my favorites, The Dragon Con Report, Earth Station 1, and many, many more. And we have Mike Emke there. Mike, we're so privileged to be part of your Weeby Geeks collective, my friend, which features great shows like Wookiee Radio. You can hear Mike on Wookiee Radio every week, Mighty Marvel Geeks as well, Weeby Geeks, and more. We are also very excited this week to be joining Sci-Fi Radio, formerly Krypton Radio, the most popular 24-hour sci-fi channel on the web. How is that for growth, my friends? That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like we've hit the big time now.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah, you got to get that growth checked out.
Mom, I'm so glad you're watching tonight. Now that Dad's retired, get him to watch some. Come on. He can,
Yeah,
watch some.
we haven't really arrived until both Jim's parents are watching.
My dad can't stay up this late.
They're on the East Coast.
It's because
Yeah, I
my
was just going to say they're on the East Coast.
It's because
Yeah,
we're
I'm
on the East Coast. We're in South Carolina, and my mom keeps him working hard. He's doing a new bathroom right now. He just retired, so now he works for my mom. That's how
That's how it works.
Hey, guys, what? And Ben, I'm going to ask you if you could. Our very first big topic tonight, guys, that we are talking about is yes, but Mike, MK, we be big time. You guys are big time, by the way. Mike also can be found in the pages of Pop Insider magazine. There's some of the official podcasts of Pop Insider, which is a great big international media company. So congratulations, Mike. I think that I'm always impressed with that. So we this weekend had what I would call probably the great tsunami of nerddom that kind of rolled over a million screaming, hollering, excited fans. The first started on Thursday. Ben, bring us up to speed. What is it that we saw on Thursday, and how did it get here? What's the history of the Snyder Cut?
Well, I didn't see it on Thursday. I saw it last week.
Yeah.
And my imminent video that's going to drop later this week on that #show.com, where I interview two of the visual effects artists from Weta Digital down in New Zealand. It is Simon Duncombe, and I just had the other guy's name and I totally blanked on it. Now I'm completely mortified.
I thought you screen froze for a second.
The worst word ever.
Langlands. His last name is Langlands. I can't remember his first name. So the Snyder Cut, man. So we all know the train wreck that was the DCEU, the cinematic universe that was Warner Brother and Detective Comics' answer to the MCU, the wildly popular and successful comic book serial film franchise from Walt Disney and Marvel Studios. Personal opinion, they just jumped into it. They were like, here's a Superman movie, here's a Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman movie, and here's Justice League. And so it was, whereas like literally the MCU took 4 years to build up to the Avengers. So so then Zack Snyder was kind of directing this universe, and of course he has a particular style and a way of doing superhero movies not entirely well. And he was leading up to this Justice League. He was directing Justice League, and then abruptly he had to leave halfway through the project. His daughter passed away, and it was of course that's an extremely sad thing. Then on Warner Brothers' part, they made a weird move. I guess it makes sense, but they brought on Joss Whedon, the man who directed the Avengers, the first two Avengers movies, and made the first Avengers movie at the time one of the most successful films ever to be released. So they brought in Joss Whedon to direct this movie that they wanted to be the antithesis of the other movie that Joss Whedon made. So that was kind of confusing. So what we ended up getting was what I refer to as the Justice League. And that is Joss Whedon steered Zack Snyder Justice League that he handed off to Joss Whedon. And it was bad. It was not good at all. And I started drinking when I watched the first Justice League film. And as the movie went on, I continued to drink because that was the most entertaining part of the evening. And of course, this was like 3-4 years ago. So by the end of the film, I was completely tanked. I didn't really remember much about it. There was some fun stuff, I guess, but then there became this whole campaign. I'm really dragging this out too long. I'm going to nutshell the rest of this. There became this whole campaign, like fans online were like, Snyder Cut, we want to see Snyder's version. Well, the truth of the matter is there never was a Snyder, there was storyboards, but there was never Zack Snyder didn't secretly finish the movie and then they, made Joss Whedon redo it. So people were like, release the Snyder Cut. And they were essentially saying,
it was the Justice Flop, as Mike said.
Yeah, the Justice Flop, exactly. So they basically said, let Zack Snyder come back and finish this movie. And on one hand, this kind of sets a bad precedent for movies in general. If we're just going to allow the fans to be like, no, do it again.
Yeah.
So but what I think we got is is so Zack Snyder came back and they did reshoots because they got actors on board and like everybody was hashtag release the Snyder Cut.
I think Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa both like tweeted with the hashtag.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some of the main actors from the Justice League film were like, yeah, we liked Zack Snyder's vision better than what ended up on your movie screens.
Mm-hmm.
So it snowballed from there. Eventually, Warner Brothers and AT&T were like, okay, give him another crack at it. So they went back. It was I think they started right before the pandemic hit, and they were starting to do reshoots, and then they ended up having to stop and then go back and stop and go back, and they ended up finishing this Snyder Cut of the Justice League, which ended up being a 4-hour-long epic, as opposed to the 2 hours that the Justice League was. And there's a lot of stuff in this. I got to watch an early cut of it, but there's a lot of stuff that remains the same from the original, but there's some tweaks, and obviously the color correction is entirely different because Zack Snyder has his very dank and gray style. But it benefited from something that a movie shouldn't need to benefit from, which is a 4-hour runtime so you can flesh out every character. What this would have really benefited from is a Flash origin movie, an Aquaman movie before the Justice League, a Cyborg movie.
Mm-hmm.
It could have really benefited from that. You wouldn't have had to have a 4-hour Snyder Cut if you would have had, like Marvel did, these origin movies leading into it. I would have cared about it.
Say that where people can hear it, Danae.
I didn't even remember that Cyborg was in Justice League until Ben said it just now.
Well, he wasn't very much in the Joss Whedon cut.
Okay.
And that's a whole behind the scenes thing too.
Yep.
But he has a much more prominent role in the Snyder Cut. But of course, everybody's got a prominent role in the Snyder Cut because it's 4 hours long.
Yep, and
I did enjoy it.
Mike Emke says 4 hours of slow. And also, he said, I was sober and I don't remember much of it.
I don't mind.
That's how I felt about the 2017 version.
Everyone, Mick Manhattan.
Hi, Mick.
I don't mind slow because I went to the midnight screening of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, so I'm like, I can sit through slow. But
hey, Razor, okay, Jake, you saw it, right? You saw the Snyder Cut. Stephanie, you saw it. I know Luke saw it. I've seen it twice, everybody.
Oh wow!
Hey.
How do you have that much free time?
I don't have a life.
Luke was out of town. He had nothing to do.
You spent a whole work day watching this?
No, I watched it some with Luke today while I was working. So, all right. So we're gonna jump in. We're gonna ask our special guest first, Stephanie. Thank you for being part of the show tonight. But here's Brad. He goes, I've honestly had no desire whatsoever to watch this new cut. Barely made it through the original.
No, everybody barely made it through the original.
Yeah.
DCEU, dark, cinematic, excruciating universe, according to Mike Emke. All right, Stephanie, I don't want to steal your thunder. What did you think?
Oh gosh. Okay, so I feel the same way a lot of people felt about the first one. Going into the Snyder Cut, I didn't care that much. I just thought, okay, I have HBO Max, so why not? And I didn't mind the 4-hour thing because I figure, I binge watch I binge watch shows for hours and hours. So what's the difference? What did I think about it? I actually cared about the characters more. It was awesome. And there's a couple highlights for me that really stood out that made it better for me, a whole overall better experience than the first one. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, if we're going to touch on some of them throughout this conversation.
Yeah. We absolutely can. And let me just tell everybody, if you're listening, spoilers are going to be coming our way. So you will be spoiled if you haven't seen it yet. But since the whole universe has seen this movie, go ahead, Stephanie.
Okay. Well, I am a huge fan of Wonder Woman. I saw the first one in theaters multiple times. And it really affected me just as a woman, seeing a woman on screen that was like powerful and strong and kicking butt and like pure at heart. And I just loved her. She was so inspiring to me. And then I just remember in the 2017 version rolling my eyes a lot at the way they were portraying her. She just felt like a object to look at, how hot she was. There was a lot of like up the skirt kind of shots. I mean, there was like a scene where she falls on top of Barry and Barry falls on top of her and he's like right on her chest and it's awkward. And there's just all these moments that I was like, no, you're taking away the magic of Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman is just, she's so pure and she's so like almost holy, you know? And I just really appreciated this whole movie treated her with such respect. And I mean, I could go on and on. I mean, there's more things I appreciated.
You're talking about the
You're making
27.
Ben rub his beard right.
Wait,
Get out of the shower right.
Beard ball.
Yeah, the
bro.
2017 one was the one I rolled my eyes at the way they treated
the
Wonder Woman.
2017.
Yeah, and then the Snyder Cut was just a whole other experience. It was like, Wonder Woman's back. This is the Wonder Woman I love.
Yep.
She really felt like her true, pure, if you will, self. I really appreciated that. And Cyborg, I mean, that was a big, like, she was saying she didn't even remember Cyborg was in it. And I felt almost the same. He was kind of forgettable in the first one, but then in the Snyder Cut, you really care about him. I mean, I think the best part about the Snyder Cut is caring about the characters a whole lot more.
Yeah. So, Jake, let's go ahead and see what you thought about it. And then we're going to talk a little bit of specifics with everybody else.
So, unlike most people, the 2017, I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. It just kind of was, there, just kind of meh. Because I like a lot of the DC stuff, the DCU, I'm kind of like 50-50, Super Man of Steel was pretty cool. Wonder Woman was great. I have really enjoyed Batman v Superman, and then I thought the extended cut was better. So I wasn't like super. I love the characters. Obviously, they're the most famous comic book characters ever: Superman, Batman. So when I saw it, I wasn't so much mad. I'm talking about the 2017. I wasn't so much mad as I was just kind of bummed. Like, oh, that kind of sucks. Like, I wish they could have really done that. Well, maybe sometime. And then honestly, I just let it go. I didn't really think about it. So then when all this big thing came up, we're doing the Snyder Cut, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm like trying to remember. I'm like, I don't really remember much of it because I was just like, it was kind of like in and out of my thought process, whatever. So, but I agree with Stephanie. I think the characters were treated much better in this version. They really delved more into the characters. It's a long movie. That's the one thing, you got to have patience and really have time to sit if you're going to watch it all in one sitting, The thing I thought, Zack Snyder, he definitely takes his time with this. And there's a lot of scenes that I'm just like, cut this out. Like the scene where Bruce goes to try to recruit Arthur and then he goes in the water. And then it's like, it felt like 2 minutes of the women like singing the Icelanders. And I'm just like,
what is this?
She's picking up his sweater and like smelling it. I'm like, what? No, like,
That was beautiful. I will
like, I get it, but it's like, yeah,
No,
but that's things like that. Or just like,
I want to hear it in just a second.
yeah. But things like that, he definitely.
I think he is.
Apparently.
He's advertising this new.
So Ben is
I
Ben
started drawing this out because of Derek's luxurious man beard.
But I'll just say the last thing. I liked it a lot. I thought it was good. I definitely enjoyed it much better than the Justice version. The one thing I'll say, and the thing that a lot of people know, we're talking about the Joker scene and the whole epilogue. I didn't really think that needed to be in. I would have preferred if that was like its own separate short film that you could watch at the time, because it has this great epic ending and then the epilogue, and it just keeps going.
And we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about that by itself in a second, because apparently that whole epilogue was nothing more. It was mainly the preview of what Zack Snyder wanted to do going forward that we're never going to possibly get a chance to see. Which I'm like, well, then why film it, for crying out loud? Like Zack Snyder said that one of the reasons is because he had spent a whole decade with the with Batman and the characters of the Justice League. Watching Ben groom himself is anyways, but like we had spent a whole decade with the Justice League with Batman, but he had never put Batman and Joker face to face. So he said he wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I wish he would have resisted that urge. All right, Derek, you were having a couple of different opinions there while Jake was speaking.
Wait.
The song was pretty.
The song.
Yeah, I was just saying the song was pretty. I will grant that. So between the kids and Army over the weekend, I had time to watch about 46 minutes of it this morning while I was working out. I watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier first.
All right.
You got important stuff done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so far, I have liked what I've seen, because my biggest complaint with a lot of the DCEU movies is it felt like they just didn't get the characters and didn't honor them well, particularly Superman. Granted, I didn't grow up reading the comic books all the time, but I knew Superman from the various Superman TV shows. You know, I watched Lois and Clark as a kid, and yes, it was cheesy, but man, that was fun. You having fun? Okay.
Drink.
So, and then, of course, with Smallville and other the older movies about Superman, and now Superman is not supposed to be dark and brooding the way Batman is, and getting that, it has always bothered me. So what I do like about this so far is we're just getting more character moments. I like the idea that they can actually develop Cyborg and Flash a little bit. Hopefully, I've still got to watch the rest. But I liked the song, even though that scene was a little long, and I liked the song in the scene after that, which was a little strange having them back to back. But when Lois Lane is going and mourning over Superman, we see that she's been going to this monument, this memorial spot every day, and she's being nice to the police officer, bringing him coffee, and he's like, "Still here, Miss Lane," and we're seeing all the flowers that are out there, because that was another thing before. We didn't really see how the people were mourning Superman. We didn't see how the community was all affected by it. What we had seen was how people were angry and didn't like him, and how there was graffiti on the monument and all these things. And then we saw how there was more crime happening now that he was gone. But
We didn't see that in this movie.
What's that?
There was none of the graffiti and crime stuff. That's all been removed. We removed the graffiti.
So nice. So yeah, I feel like we're getting a little more character development, which you have time to do when it's a longer movie. And I, for one, do think that the comic book type stories work better in a longer format, in many ways, because we get to see so much instead of just trying to grab like the big moments and the biggest villains from the comic books and smash a bunch of stuff together to make it work in a 2-hour movie. But in years past, that's all we've been able to do, because you're going to have some live action films, storytelling, the big budget stuff for the huge visual effects and the epic scenery. It all has to be in a movie on a big screen instead of on TV. But now it's not like that so much anymore, because we have these streaming services. People have big screen televisions a lot more. You've got high def TV, you've got great sound systems in the home. And with all these streaming services, we're getting a whole lot more of that. So we can have things like WandaVision. We have things like the Netflix Marvel series, and now Winter Soldier, and now something like this can exist. And we've also had the DC TV shows from the CW, and those huge following. So I like the possibility of having a really long superhero movie. It's kind of the best thing they could do with the Justice League right now, when there have been multiple Avengers films and there's been so much time to really develop all of that.
Right.
And so far, I don't know that it's still like quite where I would like it to be, but it seems closer.
And to your point, though, like I think, even though all of us watched it as a 4-hour and 9-minute movie, I think, or something like that, we probably all watched it like that. It's actually split up into 6 different sections plus an epilogue, kind of like comic books. So they did, for those who wanted to watch a section at a time, it is split up into conveniently split sections. I wish it was almost like episodic online, like you had to go to the next episode. That would have been.
I was just gonna say that. Do you think it would have been perceive differently if they would have had like a episode per week and made it like a mini series instead of just one long movie, or would that be too long between each section to really think?
I don't know.
Now with like WandaVision and Falcon, now it's like you get an episode, then you get a whole week.
I think it would have been interesting, and to focus on a character each one, you know, like. But I mean, that would have required a lot of reshooting to tell a nice beginning, middle, and end, and have act structures and all that. To something like that would have been probably too difficult. But I think an idea, and this might inspire stuff like that, where you really could kind of create an ensemble cast like this, but then give each episode kind of like they do on like the show Lost and other stuff, where certain episodes focus on the backstory of a certain character. I think this kind of shows that they could possibly do that within the superhero world.
So
universe.
So I think I don't know which way I'd go on that, but let me guys tell you. Let me see. Is everybody?
What did you think, Jim?
I'm going to tell you right now what I thought, and I enjoyed it better the second time because I actually there was a couple moments. I'm a big softie. I actually teared up a couple times when I started thinking about what this movie actually was. And then at the very end, the final words you see on the screen at the end of the credits, it's for Autumn.
Yeah.
And if you think of this movie as a parent to a child, it changes everything about the movie. Every single superhero in the movie was dealing with issues with their parents. Every single one in such a big way. And I don't think that was quite so strong the last time. Wonder Woman and her mother, she and her sister, but she was afraid that her mother had been killed by this man, and it was generating her. Superman returning to his mom on the farm, that was just one of the most touching scenes in the film. Batman, of course, we know his history with his parents, and it was kind of motivating him. But then
Superman 2, there's the both dads thing, and I think wasn't there both voices kind of going back and forth in that one scene, which was kind of
cool. The two dads, when he was back in his spaceship, both of his fathers were speaking to him to encourage him to move forward. And then perhaps the two most moving father-son scene. I mean, the father-son stuff was just getting to me. Like Cyborg and his dad. And spoilers, how his dad sacrificed himself to save the world, and Cyborg, that was like the moment he finally came to reconciliation with his father. And then Flash and his dad who's in prison. And the last thing he does, I'm going to tear up, guys. He's like, the last thing he does it for his dad because he's trying to make his dad proud of him.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, I saved the world.
Cry.
Dad, I saved the world, and I got admitted to this crime lab. My son, nothing can stop him. So once I started thinking about there's a lot of indulgences with this movie, a lot that needed to be cut. But once I started thinking about like all these super slow scenes and how they were building towards the whole thing is a family drama about children with their parents, and I was like, wow, that part to me is what. Here we go, Betsy. Hooray for all. Okay, Jim, dad's too.
That's Luke's mom for anybody who's just listening.
Oh, that was Luke's mom who was mentioning it. So anyways, that was my favorite part. And I know we're going a little bit long, but this is what I would consider the biggest nerd moment of the year is this weekend. So let me ask you guys this. What do you think of the villain Darkseid?
I haven't gotten that far, so I don't know.
So like the big bad.
The big bad.
Yeah.
Was he scary or was he a good addition? Because he was barely in the Justice League, but he is a main character almost in this version.
He wasn't in Justice League at all, was he? I mean, it was.
I don't know if he was.
And they hinted at him coming in the future,
right?
And they just had.
I think Snyder's trying to get another film. I think that's kind of the purpose of it, and I think he kind of teased it. I could tell the difference, and my kind of main opinion about it is they really Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, where they basically went in and they redid so much CGI and did it, and basically like what you wish a lot of movies would have, such as like Star Wars, where it's like, oh, they messed up here, people hated this, and they basically got that opportunity to do it all like fan haters and all that have like done where they're like, I don't like this, and they got the opportunity that a lot of people have always wanted, where you could go back in and do it again, which I wonder if that will kind of start a thing of like, can they redo Last Jedi or something like that? I'm just saying. But
Well,
Go ahead, Ben. You and I are thinking the same
I do want to hear that I could go back, but you say this, Ben.
well, I was going to say that's what I was saying earlier. This sets a bad precedent for just like
agree.
people that like that movie. Let's just do it over. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the
I don't
actors never get free from it. They're just
Yeah,
going back and back and back.
Yeah, but those actors are making money on this.
That's
Like,
true.
It's true.
As an
There might
actor,
be
I was thinking a lot about how, like Cyborg, he probably was so bummed to like film all this stuff for the movie and then have it stripped off of him. And he's like, guys, I swear I was in the movie. I swear I had a good part. But now we all get to see it, and it's like justice for Cyborg and all these actors who got cut.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of ways.
I was just gonna say, just on that thought, like if you could be Batman 50 times, like you'd just keep being Batman. I know I
right?
would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Superman.
Well, but that's not necessarily the case because Ben Affleck could have kept being Batman, and then he was like,
It's true.
nah, man, I don't want to keep doing this. And I think that's the thing is like if it's not just enough to be Batman or to play Batman. It's got to be good. Otherwise, then you're known as the shitty Batman. You know, like, and like
George
Clooney isn't going around telling people.
George Clooney.
George Clooney.
Clooney isn't going around telling people, I played Batman. He's telling them, I played Danny Ocean. I played the good parts. And I think as an artist, I think all of you can probably connect to this. And I feel like Stephanie was probably leading to this.
That's my dad. We are pro actor.
We are pro actors. There you go. And it isn't just about money. Of course, if you're at this level, you're making all the money in the world for any set that you step on. But if you're playing a role and they just keep bringing you back to play this role and it's not good and it's not showcasing what you can do and it's not satisfying to you as an artist, then the money doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter at that point anyway, because you already got millions of dollars. Listen, if they called me up and they're like, hey, Ben with credit card debt, do you want to play Batman? It's a terrible film. I'd still be like, how much are you going to pay me? Yeah, I'll play Batman. But if I've,
do it for free next weekend. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But Ben, do you think that Ben Affleck did a terrible Batman job?
No, I don't think so at all.
No, I think he was great.
I think Ben Affleck left because the franchise was going down the toilet.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be his own standalone.
I think everyone involved did a great job. My only person who I would recast would have been Lex Luthor. What's his name? Jesse
Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg. I just don't. I want to see like Bryan Cranston as like Lex Luthor,
Oh wow,
that would be like perfect. But instead, it's like
Michael Rosenbaum.
Mind blown.
I know what they're trying.
Multiverse, Lex Luthor, make your way.
Just think about it. It's been so good. But Jesse Eisenberg, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make him more like, the complete opposite of Superman, the little skinny, nerdy guy, but he's like a genius and everything. He's still.
Yeah, don't go for Gene Hackman to him.
I was just gonna say I'd forgotten about him. I'd forgotten about him until that post-credit scene. I was like, oh yeah, this guy.
That post-credit scene wasn't that bad, and
the scene's the scene's cool. That's the only casting decision. I was like, no.
I would say for casting also, Amber Heard is like not everyone's favorite person right now.
Yeah,
we're gonna get to you, Marvel Universe.
Hello, Marvel Universe.
Marvel Universe, I love you.
Yeah, she doo-doos in beds to get back at X.
Well, I don't want to talk too much about the gross stuff about Amber Heard.
But let me just say this: her accent
was bad.
It was rough. It was really rough.
I agree,
and
it was distracting.
Yeah, I do have to say though, like Luke, to what you just said, it was a little bit disconcerting to. I hate to say it, to watch her on screen. I mean, I would have felt the same way if it was Johnny Depp on screen. It was it's hard not to think about some stuff when it gets so sordid in public, but like, I try not to do that. By the way, can we address this right here? Where did it go? And Brad said that DC announced that they will not be continuing the Snyderverse in another film. I heard they said the same thing.
The numbers came in.
Yes, I don't believe them for 1 second. I'm sorry, I just do not.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't. If
We
there's
already know we're getting more of the Shazam stuff, and that is technically in the same universe.
Yeah, well, and Henry Cavill signed on. For
Yeah,
that
Henry
movie
Cavill
too,
signed on for the
so-
next Shazam, and we're supposed to get like 3 of those, and Black Adam, and we're getting more Wonder Woman. Like, so we know it. Like, it might
Probably
not
Aquaman
be
too.
Snyder, but we're still getting more of these films because they're still making money, even though a lot of people don't like them. I mean, even from what I think, Batman versus Superman still, and some of the others, like even Suicide Squad did really well overseas. And that's,
yeah.
I mean, like if they're making money on it, they're going to make them.
Can we talk for a second about a part of the movie which has been kind of polarizing? It's a part of the movie that I personally thought I wish I didn't need to see it. Jake kind of hinted at it. Coy Jandreau, one of our good friends of the show, hated this. It was the nightmare scene at the end. Somebody who wants to describe what we saw there, just real briefly.
Jake?
Jake.
It was a you kind of saw this in Batman v Superman versus like nightmares of like visions of the apocalyptic future, and it's who's all the I can't remember. It's him and Flash and
Mara.
Joker, and
That guy with the eye patch.
Deathstroke, yeah.
Nick Fury.
And it's them.
Not Nick.
Not Nick Fury. No. It's just them. They're just kind of all sitting there talking and describing things that have happened and what the plan is and stuff. And you learn that Lois has died. Did they mention anyone else? I guess we just assume a lot of characters are dead. Aquaman, yeah, that's right, Aquaman, yeah. And it really, the whole scene, you feel like it was just an excuse for it to have the Joker in the movie and have them have that conversation, And like I said, it was an okay scene. I thought Jared Leto, however you say it, I thought his version of Joker in this was much better than Suicide Squad. But again, I just feel like it was just a cool little extra, like to watch it after that movie, after that nice ending where they wrap everything up, and then you have this and it just kind of drags. I wanted it just to be like its own separate thing. Like, yeah. And then if you want, watch this cool thing too,
Well, Zack Snyder actually did an interview to explain what that final scene was supposed to be. That was what he wanted to go. He wanted to go forward. He eventually planned to go forward. He said, and this is his words, he says, we cut to the distant future where this band of misfit superheroes have stayed alive somehow throughout all this insanity.
They're pulling a Logan.
They're pulling a Logan because Superman is on the side of Darkseid. The Earth has fallen. Batman is not able to save Lois, and she dies. So here's the plan. In the future, they're going to find one of the mother boxes.
Full fry on this.
In the future, they're going to find one of the mother boxes that still remains, and using the genius of Cyborg and the power of the mother box, they're going to jump Flash back in time to the Bat Cave to give Bruce an advantage in the fight against Darkseid, so that he could save Lois and change all this. I guess Superman is evil because of his bitterness over Lois being killed. So that's a lot. There's a lot going on, and that's just a little bit. If you look in the most recent issue of GQ magazine online, Zack Snyder goes into great detail telling about where he wanted to take this universe, and it's a universe we're never going to see now, apparently.
Allegedly.
I liked the scene because after that, I was just like, everything's nuts. Like, I don't care. Like, cool, let's see some more of that nightmare stuff. Because you saw Barry with his goatee and like the armor helmet thing, like was in Batman v Superman when he comes through the portal or whatever in the Batcave, and so that was like, I was like, oh yeah, and then yeah, I have to agree with Jake. The Jared Leto's performance of the Joker in that scene, that was what I wanted from him, and he did great. When he's like,
he did great too.
Yeah, it was great.
I like Jared Laredo. I like this Joker.
What did you guys think of Martian Manhunter? Are you guys surprised?
The end was cool. His random cameo in the middle of the movie was weird
was
and out of place.
Confusing. Yeah.
When he was Martha Manhunter.
Yeah, Martha.
It had me suspicious of everyone. I was like, is this person secretly him? Is this person secretly him? The whole rest of the movie.
But then nobody was. It was
Yeah.
just in that one scene in the middle
Yeah.
of a 4-hour movie.
Yeah, it was kind of like weird. It kind of stuck out a little bit. Like, I'm not sure what the purpose of it was. And I by the way, I knew there was a Martian Manhunter in the movie because the guy who plays him, I was listening to a podcast he did about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he talked about, yeah, I'm in there. I don't know where. So I was looking for him, but I don't know. That it didn't seem to move the story.
I read somewhere that the reason why he was in that scene playing himself as Martha was to make sure Lois would continue forward because he knew how important she was going to be. He needed her to not just be retreating and hibernating in her apartment. He needed her to move forward so that she could be there the moment Superman sees her, and just for the future.
It makes sense.
I mean, sure, but that wasn't apparent. Like
It wasn't. Yeah.
If you have a 4-hour movie, you shouldn't have to have extra stuff outside of it explaining why the things were in the movie. You know?
That's
It seemed
true.
like
That's a good
they were just like, if we're gonna do this, let's make something a little extra to throw in there. Like, hey, how about this?
It was cool. It was cool to see, but outside of that, I was like, what?
As someone who hasn't read the comics, I had no idea who he was. I thought maybe he was a bad guy. And so I guess it was just a wink to people who have read the comics and know who he is. I don't know.
Well, according to Marvel Universe, I love that Marvel Universe is schooling us on the DC Universe.
Yeah.
Martian believes in hope, love, and charity. This is part of his character. So that's kind of cool that they brought him in then. I think that's kind of cool. And I don't remember, didn't the Justice League at the end when they went in, they said, hey, we have a table big enough for 6, and she says, well, maybe more. Weren't they in the Hall of Justice building in the Joss Whedon version or not? Did I misremember that?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I was blasted by the end of Joss.
All right, so guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up our discussion of the Zack Snyder universe. Last question. Anything that you particularly loved or hated? And it's got to be a short answer. Let me know. I'll tell you mine. Way too much slow motion. Oh my goodness gracious. If you would have gotten rid of that slow motion, this movie would have been an hour 50.
Something I hated, strong word, but Wonder Woman's every single time she was on screen, it was every single time. They would not give that singer a break. It was every single time.
That's her
That's all I have
theme.
to say.
It sounded just like Battlestar Galactica.
I needed a break.
Yeah. Anybody
That's
else?
when I would say, yeah, the music just was distracting at times. Like, this just doesn't seem to fit. But if we're trying to get used to the new Lord of the Rings type of superhero movie, then I'd get used to it. But this just kind of surprised me music-wise. But then something, I'm blanking on what I was saying.
Music?
Yeah. Oh, I continue to like Flash, and I want more Flash is what I would say.
Agree.
Something like it needed more humor, and I loved the Flash part. And then Aquaman definitely had his moments as well, especially kind of towards the end. He kind of came into his own and kind of had those moments that were in both versions. But I think what Marvel does so well is the mix of emotions. You hit these like super intense like moments, like emotional action, and the humor. There's like a full range where a lot of people are doing it was like CW on steroids most of the time, but then the Flash and Aquaman every now and then would say something funny, and I did like the well, I'm rich is my superpower, and then he bought the what was it, the company, the real estate company or whatever, to save the house at the end.
Bought the bank.
And I had a few funny lines there.
I bought the bank.
I bought the bank. That's it.
Marvel Universe says he loved Cyborg. That was the best part for him. I agree. That was
it was great.
such a good.
Yeah, that was a good update.
Cyborg was great. I liked that compared to Justice League, they took a lot of the zany comic relief away from Batman, which was the right move. He still had some funny lines and some levity, like, what's your superpower? I'm really rich, that sort of thing. but he didn't have weird, like, zany comic relief lines like he had in the Joss Whedon version. And they left a lot of that really funny stuff to Barry Allen, which Ezra Miller did really, really good. And I know he's kind of problematic off screen too, but he did. I really found his Barry Allen character to be very charming, and I liked him a lot.
Definitely.
Well, it sounds like the group consensus here is that this is something worth watching. It was an incredible improvement over the previous version from Joss Whedon, and we all give it kind of a thumbs up. Thank you, guys.
Things to love, things to hate.
And, yep.
Not
So-
perfect.
And this wraps up part 1 of our 8-part podcast.
Yeah, so we're not going to go super long tonight, but we do need to talk about the other giant shoe to drop this weekend, which is Marvel's The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which dropped Friday night at midnight here on the West Coast. I guess 3 o'clock in the morning over there for you East Coasters. Danae, did you see this one?
I did.
I would love to know what Danae thinks.
So if anybody's listened to the podcast before, you know that I have not been a fan of Marvel's most recent release. I won't say what it was, but I mean, just in like the first 10 minutes of episode 1 of Falcon and Winter Soldier, I was able to forgive Marvel for the gas leak of a mini series that we just got from them.
We don't agree. Not all of us agree.
Yeah.
Not all of us agree.
Your wrong opinion, Cheeseman. That's fine.
My mom now loves Marvel because of that.
My hair is red because of that.
Everything.
Oh my.
So, I mean, it was so awesome from the start. It was just, I was on, we have the Con Girls on Instagram. I was on there right away, not doing spoilers, but like posting what I was seeing and my thoughts. My instant reaction was like, Sam, why don't you wear a mask when you fly? I would do that so don't swallow any like bugs or anything. But, and it was just, he was doing all the cool tricks, flying through helicopters and all the awesomeness. And, Brad, you can just close your mouth when you're talking to me.
He is. He's typing this. So
Thank you. Thanks.
in case you were wondering.
Thanks.
Actually,
It was just so much fun. I mean, and of course it ended so well with like that perfect cliffhanger. Like, are we allowed to discuss spoilers here?
Spoilers, yes. By the way,
spoiler alert. Episode begins with Sam handing basically Washington, this is Captain America's shield. And it ends with Washington announcing, because the government loves to get in the way, meet your brand new Captain America, and some bimbo holding not a fan.
Not just some bimbo.
Yeah.
Like, I'm absolutely sure we saw that guy earlier in the episode.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I think we're
those
supposed to make that connection.
COVID-safe bad guys with the red masks, red hand Saruman style.
I was
on their
thinking of
face.
Saruman the whole time.
This is why we relate.
Uruk-hai meets real extremist group, but
Communist.
yeah.
And it was intense, and I really think it's that guy's too. I'm really excited for this Friday. I can't wait to watch it.
And speaking of the premiere, I just have to say Disney Plus, their new original series of Falcon and the Winter Soldier from Marvel Studios ranked as the most watched series premiere ever on Disney Plus during its opening weekend. It beat the premiere of WandaVision, which is the second most watched series on Disney Plus, and it beat the second season premiere of Mandalorian, which is the third most watched episode.
Wow.
Nice.
That's a big deal, guys.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. It was great. You had to.
I was just
going to
say I'm excited for the Loki series too. I've been really nervous with how he's handled the character since Endgame. He's not acted like himself, and I want to see what they do with it. And I'd love to see those numbers again after that episode airs.
Okay, Jake, Ben, Cheese. What do you guys?
Hey, we're in the same square, but I didn't get to say anything.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
All right, just
Moving on back to Jim. Just kidding.
We don't agree about WandaVision because I love WandaVision, but I also enjoyed this a lot. And as I said, I was watching it. Right? I'll see how the rest of it goes, and then I'll decide. It's a very different type of show, and I like that our two shows are very different. And I want to put this out there. Like,
we have a question for you, Derek. You can answer this very simply.
A weekly episode release series like Wanda. Is he talking about the show on Disney Plus, or is he asking if we're going to talk about it every week?
The show.
Yeah, as far as we know, right? It's going to be every Friday.
Disney has said.
Yeah,
6 weeks.
Okay, but what I was going to say, like, I've always Captain America is my favorite Avenger, and I'm part of the reason I love Captain America is, like we mentioned earlier, I'm an Army reservist, and I joined and went and visited my unit for one drill weekend before I actually went to basic, and that weekend was when Captain America came out, and I saw it in the theater before, like, going into a drill weekend, like my first, like,
Wow.
entering into the Army. And now I'm seeing this, like, right after I got to go back to Army in person after a year of just doing it virtually. And so it's really special to me being able to see that. I loved how in The Winter Soldier, when they introduced Sam Wilson, he was a friend who was able to be there for Steve Rogers and convince him to go to this PTSD support group for veterans. And the way they handled this kind of stuff, like the character things, you know, we're seeing Bucky, who's still dealing with all these difficult issues, and he's talking to a therapist in there, a therapist who's also a veteran. And he's saying, you know, I feel like I've just been going from one fight to another. And apart from a little tiny rest in Wakanda for a little while, it's just been one fight after another. I've never gotten a break. And so he's dealing with all of that. And then I thought it was so interesting, the friend that he's hanging out with, you know, this guy's a World War II, he's technically 106 years old, and he's hanging out with this guy who's this Japanese man. And, you know, people from that generation, especially if they were involved in World War II, sometimes have, you know, unfair opinions about all Japanese people. But I thought, oh, this friendship is really interesting. And then you find out a little more there. Oh, this ties into Bucky's past, like him trying to make amends for some of the things he's done. And there's so much. I just love all the character stuff. And I love, you know, what Sam Wilson, he's trying to go and look out for his family. And I love the action sequences, which that's how this was different from WandaVision. This is much more of an action series, whereas that one was much more about the emotion of it. It was more, you know, set in a home. And you've got one person dealing with grief. Here you've got multiple people dealing with a whole lot of issues. And also this theme of, you know, we need heroes right now. And people approaching that in different ways. I think that's really fascinating. And I think it speaks to what our culture does need right now. You've just... like with WandaVision, you've got a lot of people dealing with grief right now, so it's going to speak to a lot of people. And here, like, we don't have a lot of people that we can really look up to in the public eye because we see, like, so much of people. But where Captain America and Superman, when he's done right, are aspirational heroes, we can get more of that when we see guys who are guys and girls in shows like this who are just doing the right thing, putting themselves at risk to try and protect the innocent, to try and fight for what's right. And that's the kind of hero that I want to see in a series, and I'm glad we've got it. And I've been talking a while. Now I'm done. Thank you.
All right, the rest of you, come on, jump in. Let's talk.
Coming from a guy who has served the country.
Yeah, Derek is. Thank you very much, Derek. If we never tell you, thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you for your service.
We do. Thanks. All right.
Yeah.
Ben and Stephanie, let's hear from you guys. What you think?
Yeah. Well, I liked his point about being friends with Yuji or Yuri, the Japanese man. I thought that was really sweet. I thought it was really emotional and touching to think about him making amends, if you will, for what he did to his son, which was great casting, by the way, of his son. His son was so likable, and it was really easy to be upset with what happened to him. And I also was excited to see the love interest of Bucky being Japanese, or I don't know what race she is, but I thought that was really cool. The story of this next season, or this season, is like something I read. I've been reading about all these things, more emotional about like, where do they go now? What's happening now? How are they going to, you know, make it in this next season of their life? I thought it was funny. My husband, while we were watching it, kept shouting at the TV. He was like, "Why didn't Tony leave you money? Why are they poor? Why are they struggling?"
Yeah.
He just was really fired up about their finances. It was a good first episode, made me excited. Something that I looked up because I was watching it again this afternoon, and when Bucky's in therapy, he's got this wall behind him that's just all these aspen trees. And I was like, that's a creative choice they made on purpose. So I Googled the meaning of aspen trees, because plants always have like a meaning. and it's a shield.
Oh!
Shield, you guys. Okay,
No
I'm just
way.
shouting. But I was like, the details that goes
Love that.
into the MCU. It's just so good.
Oh, I love that.
Please.
But when he fell from the train, wasn't it kind of into like a treed area? Did it kind of symbolically? I know that was more snowy or whatever, but
Yeah. Yeah, it was
that's
snowy.
just my
Yeah.
own thing. But that
Yeah.
makes a lot more sense.
Hey, let's do
that
Ben
was
and,
so
then,
cool.
Ben and then Jake.
I'm just really excited. I love that these series like WandaVision and now Falcon and Winter Soldier are taking these characters that a big thing I said during WandaVision. You had Wanda and Vision did not get all the chances they deserve to be showcased in the feature films. And so now, and in the same way, Bucky and Sam did not get to be showcased. I mean, they were always like the friend. They were literally, both of these guys were the best friend of the main character in the Captain America movies. And Wanda and Vision were these people that came in Age of Ultron, and then they were kind of along for the ride. And so we're getting to see these characters fleshed out, and we're getting to see these actors have a lot more exercise and freedom to really build these characters, which I'm really excited about. And of course, I was a huge fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and so this has, this series is a little bit more action-y than WandaVision. It's a little bit more Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but you're also dealing with PTSD. You're dealing with, a guy who is 106 years old, and he had to go through brainwashing where he was an assassin for Hydra and all this kind of stuff, and dealing with that, which is gorgeous to watch.
Yeah.
I am not a military guy myself, but I think the way that veterans get treated in our country so often, particularly by our government, is abhorrent. And I think it is very important to, especially in entertainment, showcase what people who have been in the military and who have served in that way and put their lives on the line have to go through. And it's okay.
That's my husband. It's a terrible picture of him, but it's a
They're
thing.
posted everywhere around town.
Luke doesn't like good pictures of people.
Yeah, I didn't cut out this one. I was giving it.
But Ben, please continue.
Well, I was going to say I was saying something nice and important, and then put a sticker on the show. But no, I think it's important to understand that people, these are people, these are heroes, and these are people that are dealing with things, and it's just important to see that in alongside the story of being a superhero. I think it's.
Jake, what say you?
Yeah, well, first of all, I agree with it. Everything you guys have been saying about it has been spot on. I loved it. I think it's great. I love Falcon as a character. I'm really glad we're getting a lot more into his backstory because he's always such an interesting character. And like Ben was saying, he was just always kind of like the sidekick, kind of like the background character who didn't get to really branch out. As far as the show, like the opening action sequence of this was so great. Like it was top notch. And I was watching it and I was thinking to myself, I can't believe this is a TV show. Like,
I know.
This is like beyond anything that's like considered a TV show. Like, I love you saw his drone he has called Red Wing. So in the comic, Falcon actually has actual Falcon bird that flies around that he like has on his arm, whatever, and he has like a psychic connection to, and it flies off. So in the MCU, they made it into the drone thing. And I love that when it starts flying off, you hear it kind of making noises, and it kind of sounds like a bird, like little chirping, kind of like weird noises. So it's like, oh, that's so cool, little things like that. So, but yeah, really cool. I'm really excited to see how it goes, and I'm in 100%.
Yeah, and I think this whole thing is so smart because it makes me want to go back and rewatch the movies. Like with WandaVision, I watched Age of Ultron again to understand it better. So. This is so smart that they're doing this.
Yeah. Luke,
you can watch them all on Disney Plus, streaming right now.
Except for the Incredible Hulk. It's not on there. It's universal.
Although they mentioned there was a mention of Incredible Hulk in this, the guy who became the Incredible Hulk was mentioned in this episode. I mean, the guy who became the enemy of the Incredible Hulk.
Oh.
I I read that somewhere. I might be telling you a lie, but I heard that it was slightly mentioned in this episode. All right, Luke.
Yeah, there's two things I'd like to say. Like, as a filmmaker and all that, I really love the choice they made to shoot of Bucky, during that scene where he's talking to a therapist, of like that weird, like awkward close up from the side, which really kind of added that like human type side and stuff. That shot just alone just really kind of brought you in kind of a different way than a lot of these Marvel films have, and bringing kind of like the personal aspect in, with the Falcon character of like him giving up the shield. And there's a lot of like psychology behind this whole thing. And it's brilliant too, like, because they're doing the whole like Walking Dead thing. It's like Bucky's like killed all these people, but then he's trying to turn around, kind of like, Negan did all this bad stuff in Walking Dead, but then he's kind of redeeming himself. Not Bucky was brainwashed, so that gives him a little more grace and stuff. But it's really cool, and almost, as we're Christian nerds, the amount of like grace that's given kind of in this situation. And on another note, I really like how at the end of this episode, spoiler, is that they're bringing in a new Captain America, which kind of almost seemed more of like a douchey version of Captain America, which kind of almost brings in kind of a little bit of the boys vibe. So I'm wondering if they'll kind of give it where he's all about the publicity, the media, and all that, where I'm really interested to see the angle they take on this. And then if, eventually one of them will take the shield from this guy, because he's just kind of almost seems like this little product of they're just doing it to be mainstream.
Hey, I just want to respond to Marvel Universe. He goes, I'm sure you guys are not going to show my WandaVision comment. Hey, Marvel, look at this.
That's
WandaVision
okay.
was good, he says, but a bit disappointing. The fight between Vision Hex versus Vision was obviously stolen from Man of Steel, and that was a shame. And then he said, Falcon and Winter Soldier basically feels more creative. There's nothing. Those are bad comments. Those are good comments. Danae, I'm sure, agrees with you 100%.
I don't know. Like I said, I've really liked both. I mean, I like this first episode of this. I really enjoyed WandaVision. I think it's just two very different styles and serving a different purpose, and they might please different audiences, which is fine.
All right, this is Jim talking. I have an opinion.
No.
Go. Do it.
There we go.
Share.
And that's it. Thanks for watching this week. Where can we find
Listen. In the comics, Sam Wilson's backstory was he's from Harlem, and he has a different kind of backstory. I love the fact that they changed Sam Wilson's backstory, that he's from Louisiana, from a family business, a fishing business, and they're struggling. The only part I didn't really buy was they go to the bank to get a loan to save it, and because they don't have 5 years worth of income because of the blip, they don't get approved for this loan. I don't believe that. Sam helped to save the stinking universe. I think they're going to give him a little bit of leeway there.
He mentioned his government contracts and proof of income there too, and I would think all that stuff would be.
Yeah, I didn't buy that.
But I also do appreciate they're trying to ground it a little bit more real world. It was so otherworldly.
The world, but you can't. We won't let you save your business.
Yeah, well, it was so otherworldly, so outer space and cosmic, the end game, that we're back, and even WandaVision was kind of like crazy mystical. We're coming back down to quote unquote reality here. Basically losing the family farm, losing the family business, and I guess they're also they're making some statements about race here in America. So I don't know where they're going to go with that, but they're trying to kind of like ground it in current events and ground it in today. So I'm interested in that. The PTSD of Bucky, I thought that was great. I got a little bit tired with the way they kept on filming it. That entire scene was like, here, we're going to let you see a blurry half of his eye and half of his nose. I'm like,
stop it. It's because you hate Carl's Jr.'s commercials, because Jim does not like close-ups of anything.
Yeah, I don't like close-ups of people.
What's the problem?
No,
he's seen old videos of me and Jim
very well.
like college, and we'll film each other super close up, and Jim's like, I can't even watch this. You're like shooting up his nose.
I don't like pores. I don't like to look at pores or stuff like that.
Justice League is to slow motion as Falcon and Winter Soldier is to close-ups.
Yeah.
There's your IQ tips.
Right.
Well, but if that's my worst complaint, okay, I'm going to say one more thing though.
I think we should all just move to close-ups for the rest of the show, just to bug Jim.
I cannot say that I loved this episode. Get out of my plate.
Yeah, do the beard. Do the beard.
Oh, I can't do beards
That's the
either.
beard.
So we do have to kind of wrap up this discussion. I'm going to say that I hold out hope that this is going to be a straightforward, awesome series. I think we're going to be surprised. I cannot wait to see Sharon Carter. Now, I was hoping to see her because in the trailers we saw her kicking some butt as like Agent Sharon Carter. I want to see a little bit more of that. We had the opening big fight scene, and then the rest of it was sweet, but it petered out a little bit, as a TV show should be. I don't think the big reveal at the end was so. I'm like, dun, dun, dun. Maybe I was late and I was watching it because I did watch it at midnight. I got done watching it like at 1 a.m, and I waited for an end credit scene. I was like, "Is that it?"
Oh, I'm intrigued by that new Captain America. It's USA.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to
That's
be
setting
USA.
up some
But
shiz.
speaking of, Stephanie should absolutely cosplay Sharon Carter. I'm sure you've been told that before.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I have.
Great.
You totally have an Emily Van Camp look to you. So
Thank you. I loved her in Revenge, and I love Peggy Carter. So because of Peggy, I love Sharon.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong, I did love this episode. It was great. I don't know why my expectations were just so high from the trailers and stuff, but I guess that's still to come. I have high hopes. Go ahead.
I thought it set it up really well. Like this laid the groundwork for the rest of the season. I'm excited about what's coming next.
I was surprised we didn't see them both together in the first episode. I wasn't expecting that. That was an interesting thing that they haven't quite brought them together and kind of told their story separately. Did that surprise you guys? That because based on the trailers, it made it seem like they were together the whole time, kind of like the Lethal Weapon kind of thing, like the buddy action kind of thing. But they haven't come together yet, which I'm sure they will probably here in episode 2.
They have to take down the new Captain America.
Yes, I'm very much a fan. I love it. No, I love Captain America. I love Bucky. I'm not going to say your other comment there, Marvel Universe.
It's funny, but it can be funny for us.
We'll laugh about that.
Wait, does that make sense though? Because it's not plural at the end.
Anyways.
It's probably just because he's typing, and that happens sometimes.
So Brad said they had a Revenge reunion Sunday night. I don't know what that means.
The show
It's a show, Revenge.
Revenge.
I know this.
Like action hero.
Which was the actress that was in, she's in these Captain America. She's Carter's.
Sharon Carter's Emily Van Camp, who was the star of Revenge.
Yeah, that I know. Okay, that I know.
So that's how it relates.
Where did he said they had a Revenge reunion Sunday night. Okay, that's what I didn't get. What he was talking about.
Bringing up a current event.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Keep talking, Jim. Keep talking. Keep it going.
All right, guys.
Commentary.
Final thought, we do have to kind of end this part of the show because we're going long again.
Yeah.
Oh, a cyber reunion. All right. Any final thoughts? I'm super excited about this. It's so great to be, we've had a year of challenges, shall we say, and no big movies. This past weekend, we were blessed with 2 gigantic superhero fests.
Yes. Thank you, Marvel and DC.
Yeah, I was just so excited this past weekend. I enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed all 8 hours of my viewing of the Snyder Cut and my 45 minutes of the other one. Any other final thoughts before we end this part of the show, guys?
I have not been
Wondercon.
this excited for something Marvel since I was walking into Infinity War, and I was really disappointed by Infinity War, and I feel like I've got Marvel back now, if that makes sense.
You were disappointed by Infinity War?
Wow.
She's shared all these opinions before.
I have.
I don't know if she shared it all on here. She's got a long, lengthy reason.
Yeah, I'll get into it when we get to talk about Loki after that drops, because that was a big piece of it. I'm not upset that they killed him. I'm upset with how they did it. Infinity War just disappointed me in a lot of ways. And I feel like we finally, it's like when Disney gave us Tangled. It's like, okay, you're back. Let's go. Yeah.
I have something important to say. Do we feel like old man Steve Rogers might make a cameo somewhere?
I think so. Well,
I
hope so.
Yeah, I do too.
His voice was in it.
At least a nice brunch with him or something, go to Florida, go to Naples, hang out with Steve a little bit, something.
Kevin Feige said no.
No.
Papa Feige.
Come on,
Okay.
Feige.
What's this man's Twitter handle? Let's get on this.
All right, guys.
He
So
costs too much.
for those of you listening and watching, we have wrapped up our discussion of superheroes We've wrapped
We've
up.
come to the end of part 2 of our show.
So, Stephanie, you are more than welcome to stay with us as long as you would like, but we are switching over to WonderCon discussion.
All right. Well, I don't know anything about WonderCon, so I should probably let you guys take it from here.
All right.
Thank you so much for having me.
So
Well,
good
where
to
can
see
we
you.
find you online,
Where can
Stephanie?
we find you and find out what you're working on?
You can find me on Instagram. That's probably the best bet, at Stephanie L. Samuel. And my most recent thing that's going to come out is a short film that's a sci-fi. I get to do all kinds of cool special effects makeup all over me, and it's just exciting.
He looks very Guardians. I've seen pictures.
Yeah. I become an alien. Yeah. So anyway, catch me on the flippity flip.
All right.
Okay, bye. Thank you. Nice to meet
coming on.
you. Bye.
Come back soon. All right. That was a lot of fun, guys. We spent an hour and 16 minutes on superheroes, but I don't think this
This was
next
supposed to be half an hour. But
it was on Sci-Fi Radio. If you're listening to us, we probably had to cut this section down because they only allow an hour a week, so we're going to have to find some ways to shorten our thoughts. But anyways,
we could technically have 3 shows off this
The
one.
fry cut.
Yeah, like the 4-hour.
maybe we'll have a couple episodes. So, WonderCon 2021. WonderCon is the little sister convention to San Diego Comic-Con. It used to be held up in Northern California in the San Francisco area, and then it has since moved down here to Southern California. It was held once at the LA Convention Center. We did not enjoy that one so much. But all other times it has been held at the Anaheim Convention Center across the street from the Disneyland Resort. And last year, because of this stupid dang thing we have called the COVID-19 pandemic, it went online. And to be fair, they kind of got caught a little bit off guard because the shutdown happened around March 12 or 13. We've been hearing rumors of it coming for a while, but so they didn't really have time to plan a full convention. So they did what they could do, and we had some stuff. Their San Diego Comic-Con convention was much more full with the 4 days of panels and whatnot. So anyways, here we are, year 2, and WonderCon as a physical event is not happening again, but we are having WonderCon at home. So what the heck is that? Oh, this is just awful.
There's been no nightmares.
Oh, yeah.
No nightmares have been happening recently.
All right, we need to talk WonderCon. We are already way over our time. Let's have this conversation and let's go to bed.
Yeah.
Somebody's grumpy.
Somebody's not wearing their Speedo tonight.
It was exhausting.
I was
Okay.
shocked. It was a mess.
So to remind us, and we can talk over this, I have put together little bitty short WonderCon pictures from WonderCon's past, and I'm going to share it with you right now. All right, WonderCon Memories 2019. So we have
Robin Hood.
for those of you who are listening, you're not going to get the full extent of this. That's wasn't that Brennan?
I think so.
Yeah. There's Ben with the very first Power Rangers panel. That's So seeing a bunch of cosplay here in the Anaheim. There's Ben and the whole crew. Who was that, Ben?
That was the crew from the Kevin Smith film Dogma.
Cheeseman and some folks.
There's lots of cosplay all here.
I know. Luke,
we're trying to get a date.
Luke, who are you playing?
I'm Indiana Jones. Not as good as Ben's. Ben has the best Indiana Jones with his one sleeveless. There's Cap. Me with Cap is Indiana Jones. Me with
Rogue and Gambit.
Rogue and Gambit. Yep. Me with Shazam and my beautiful.
More.
No.
Captain Planet.
Zane.
Yep. Here's one of the panels at WonderCon. Luke getting chopped up by. There's Jimmy,
There's Jim himself.
Aw.
Wearing the same hat.
Wizard of Asgard.
Whoa.
You know, I just seeing these pictures just so makes me-
Spandex furry people.
Yeah, look at Aquaman.
That's Mermaid
Mermaid
Man
Man.
from SpongeBob.
Yeah, I love that.
Here's part of the
Like-
Spider-Verse. Yeah.
Like WonderCon's always been really great for cosplay. I think part of that is
Bernie Bregman.
it's not as overwhelmingly crowded as San Diego.
And Jim and matching contests.
There's at the party at Ben's after party.
Darian?
There's something unsightly.
And I can't unsee that one.
Ah,
I feel like I need to say that was not
Just
my
having
after
food that
party. That was the after party at my friend David and Lindsay's house. But I invited the con guys to it because all are welcome at their post WonderCon party, which they won't have next year because they're moving to New Zealand.
Oh, no.
to New Zealand.
Good for them.
Because they
Brad,
want-
you got to rent out to Hilton by then. You need a whole floor to yourself so we can have our own after party.
All right, no, so guys, real
Get
quick
a sponsor.
from you guys. Tell me what's your favorite parts about WonderCon? Why is WonderCon such a special Comic-Con? Because we go to a bunch of them all over the place, but what makes WonderCon kind of special? Derek, you're about to say something. Yes.
Well, I was in the middle of saying something, and all of you guys were talking over me. But I forgive you because we're friends. We got all these photos of great cosplay in that slideshow just now, and like there is a lot of great cosplay at WonderCon. They do their masquerade is really fun, and I think part of that is because it's bigger and bigger every year, but it's not like the crowd just packed in super tight the way it is at San Diego Comic-Con. There's a little bit of breathing room, and also all those hotels are right there, just across the street. It's really easy to get from your hotel to the convention center if you're staying right there. Sorry, you're just really quiet and staring at me today. So because of that, you've got the opportunity to really do some good cosplay. And so we see a lot of that there. And that's one thing I love about WonderCon. I love that it's not as crowded. I love that it's a little closer for us. And I enjoy that it's still big enough that they can get some really panels and some big name guests some of the time. But it's not like Hall H where you're just camping out. And you have to camp out the night before to see anything interesting, you know?
Yep. Janae, have you been to WonderCon?
I haven't. I was about to go to my first WonderCon last year, and then I will say I do have a notebook that Derek got for me at WonderCon in 2013, and I'm about to finish it. It's been my church notebook, and I'm really excited to finish it.
Yeah, I went with you guys to my first WonderCon in 2013, and I got her the River Song journal that looks kind of like the TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this would be a perfect gift for my sister, and it was.
That's cool. So, I'm gonna ask Jake, and then we're gonna cover the band. So, Jake, I think was San Diego Comic-Con or one of the two is like one of the first times I met you.
WonderCon, yeah.
It was WonderCon, yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I loved everything about it. The cosplay, just everyone. I'm a big collector, so walking the floor and seeing all the collectibles and things, seeing the art and everything, and really just hanging with you guys, having a great time.
Yeah.
He pulled a Greg where, like you come with an empty suitcase and you leave with a full
That
suitcase.
was San Diego. WonderCon,
Yeah.
I was the new guy, so I was like, oh my gosh, and I got some stuff. San Diego, I'm like, okay, I'm not messing around now.
Yeah.
That's cool. And Ben, I know that like WonderCon's kind of special for you.
WonderCon's a huge thing for me, and it is both me and my wife's. My wife and I's. My wife's and my. I think that's the correct grammatic term.
I think that's the way to say it.
Yeah, my wife's and mine favorite comic book convention, and there are some some things that, of course, just being a 30-minute, depending on traffic, drive away doesn't hurt. It's easier to get to than San Diego for us. If you're living across the country and coming in for WonderCon, it's a different story. But it's local. It's over by Disneyland, so you get kind of that environment alongside it. Like Derek said, the hotels are right next to it. And going along with what Jake was talking about, I think it presents very much in a very similar way to San Diego Comic-Con, because it is the same people that are putting it on, but it is less crowded. It's less stressful. There's less pressure to do every single thing that you can possibly do, which is a big stressful part of Comic-Con. Plus, there's 10 billion people there. Mm-hmm. And while WonderCon is really well attended, it does not feel nearly as shoulder to shoulder as San Diego does. And so it's a much more relaxed atmosphere, but you're still getting the same level of quality of an experience with, you know, pretty decently big names on panels and a lot of really great entertaining stuff. Plus, again, the hotels are right there. People are walking around back and forth from one hotel to another in front of the convention center after it closes. People hanging out all night, drinking. I think one time I might have seen Jim imbibing in an alcoholic beverage there once, but yeah.
No, he's lying, Mom. He's lying.
It's just what I think it was a half of one. I think he took 2 sips and said, "Ew, this is yucky," and then he put it down.
Because he'd been holding it for 2 hours.
Yeah, and then the other thing is I met my wife at WonderCon.
There you go.
I met her there in coming up on 6 years ago in 2015. And you know, we were introduced there through mutual friends and hit it off, and so that's another reason. It was her favorite con leading into it. I think that was my first time at WonderCon, and you know, now it's both of our favorites for all those reasons.
That's wonderful.
That's beautiful, beautiful. Luke, do you have anything to say before we jump into the panel list?
Well, yeah, it was my first con ever, was WonderCon, and it's like Jake. Going to the floor was kind of where I felt like I got to kind of experience something different, because I mean, they have so much nostalgic things there on the floor, and finding kind of like action figures I had as a kid that I hadn't seen in the box since, you know, like, I don't know, like early 90s or something like that. I don't want to date myself, but you know, and then being also a filmmaker and seeing kind of like, you know, directors, actors, and talking on panels, I'm like, this is kind of cool as a filmmaker. And then Collectibles is kind of where WonderCon kind of got me into it originally, and I rebought my old Batman and Robin figures, and you saw me as Robin at the beginning of the show, and I've been wanting to grow a beard ever since. Like then,
that's where you bought your very first comic book, wasn't it? At that WonderCon.
Jake helped me. Which one was that? WonderCon or was that Comic-Con?
That was WonderCon. I think you bought the Killing Joke.
Yeah.
And it was Killing Joke and Batman Year One, because I was like, these are two like must-haves, you know.
Well, we're gonna jump in, guys, and just kind of give you a little preview of what the panels are. But just let me tell you this: go if you want information about WonderCon, because it is online this year. It's all going to be videos. It's Friday and Saturday, March the 26th and 27th. Looking at my calendar up here, and it's all YouTube videos. Go to their YouTube page, and like you can already scroll through and start checking out what videos you want to watch. You know, set a reminder so that you see what you want to see. It's going to be featuring panels by Netflix, Penguin Random House, IDW, DC Entertainment, Dark Horse, Adult Swim, Warner Brothers TV, Amazon Studios, CBS, Hulu, and many, many more. If you want information, up-to-the-date information on WonderCon, go to WonderCon at Home. Hashtag WonderCon at Home 2021, and also follow them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Tumblr. Do people still use Tumblr? I didn't know that.
Apparently,
still use Tumblr. It's that some people could just never leave.
All right, Derek, I know that you guys have been looking at some of the panels. Tell me what some of the panels that you guys are excited about for WonderCon this weekend.
I know Derek is excited for the legal future of Star Wars.
Star Trek.
Star Wars
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Star Trek is the future.
Star Wars is the one that I watched.
Yeah, that one sounded kind of interesting, but I was more excited about this 20th anniversary retrospective of The Lord of the Rings, because this December will be 20 years since The Fellowship of the Ring first film came out. So this is a retrospective on that, and that's at 5 p.m. on Friday. Go on.
I'm really excited for Gaming Across Comics and Books, which is at 2 p.m. on Friday. Or no, 12 p.m. My phone screen wasn't loading. Because there are just so many games that come from books now that have been awesome. I mean, we have Harry Potter behind us. I've lost count of how many Harry Potter games there are.
As you count like across platforms, there's a lot.
There's a ton. And of course, I mean, you guys know that I'm a fan of The Witcher because I wanted to play the video game, and RPG games made me sick to my stomach, and I couldn't. So that's why I read the books and watch the TV.
And why else do you like The Witcher?
Who isn't a fan of Henry Cavill? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Shirt off, right?
Yeah, Derek will agree with me there. So that's just so cool. And of course, I've also just read books before thinking this would be an amazing video game.
Oh,
Hasn't anybody gotten on this yet?
I was going to add, there's also something called like Dispatches from Middle Earth, and I'm trying to find the time. I lost it in my list here, but it sounds like it's about the Amazon series and some of the news we're getting of that. There are also some cool screenings. They've got a bunch of
Muppet Treasure Island.
Muppet Treasure Island,
the
and
greatest
Hook.
pirate movie ever made, the second greatest pirate
Exactly.
movie ever made.
What's the first greatest?
Muppet Treasure Island, and
Yeah.
Hook is the second
And Hook is the
greatest.
second.
Oh, Hook is that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Hook. I love Hook.
It's a great one.
Rufio.
And there's Tour Books doing a panel. They do some cool sci-fi and fantasy books. Anything about book publishing and stuff that gives advice to writers tends to be interesting. I did go to one a few years ago that I see is on the list again. That was just not what was advertised. So I'm not going to do that again. And I won't say what it is because I don't want to be all negative. But
Yeah, don't be all negative. Hey, does anybody else have any Friday panels that they were noticing that they might like? Derek and Danae are doing a great job in this, by the way. I know that they are panel experts. I noticed that on Friday there's a panel that I do want to see at 2:00 on Friday. There's something called Ghost Brothers Lights Out. The three hosts of this new Discovery Plus series are the first and only African American paranormal investigators on TV, and they're sons of a pastor. One of them's a son of a pastor. They pray before they go into. So it's a different kind of take on the searching for ghosts and searching for the afterlife and searching for paranormal. They put kind of like a religious spin on it, trying to like connect it with like most people. So, or a lot of people at least. I think it's super interesting. Plus, they're super fun. You got to watch the trailer for that.
It's interesting, just because I think Ben mentioned it at the beginning of the episode. There is a Bible verse when a ghost of Samuel is summoned, and he says to King Saul, "You should not be messing with this." So I'm curious what their take on it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was before we started broadcasting, but
Oh, okay. My
I
bad.
start bringing it up. The Witch of Endor.
Also, at 6:00 on that day, AMC's Creep Show is having a special preview with Greg Nicotero, who's been on this show. So that's going to be cool. He's got a show on Shudder called, it's Creep Show. You know, the Creep Show, the series. So it's going to be cool to see what is on deck next season for his show. Also, a friend of the show, Sonic the Hedgehog. The writer of Sonic the Hedgehog is
Sonic is the friend.
Sonic's the friend. Anyway, they're celebrating their 30th anniversary at 11 a.m. on Friday. Sonic the Hedgehog's 30th year with a panel to talk about the special plans to come in 2021, which I think is cool. Anything else on Friday before we jump to Saturday, guys? Luke? Oh, okay.
No, I didn't research this section, unfortunately. Although, did we mention the boys? You did mention that to me earlier.
There's a special writers room featuring writers from The Boys and Fringe, which is really cool.
To me that sounds interesting. I would like to check that out as
it's TV writers from The Boys, The Flash, Fringe, The Flight Attendant, and more. Talk about what it's like working virtually and sometimes in person in the past year of COVID-19. And for those of you who don't know, writers rooms, they're the ones that put together the TV shows. And there's usually like somewhere between like 6 to 12 writers in a room working on a series. They've all had to go remote this year, which writers' rooms are very collaborative and they bounce ideas off each other. So that's kind of a challenge. But from what I understand, they've done very well, and a lot of them will stay remote.
I think now I'd want to be a TV writer because I'm just not an office person, but now I feel like I could be.
Luke wants anything that he can sit at home. What are you talking about? That would be great.
Pre all this, I was a work at home kind of person. I love just working in my solitude and all that kind of stuff. So I don't mind not being in an office.
What about Saturday, guys? What do we have on Saturday that looks kind of exciting?
A screening of Time Bandits at 7:10 p.m.
How are they doing a screening? Are they screening it?
I'm not sure how they're doing screenings. I wonder if it's one of those like watch along viewing parties or something.
Yeah,
you can set things up to do that. I'd have to look into that, and I'm sorry I don't have the answers because that's the sort of thing we ought to be talking about on this show.
Yeah, there's also a super fun guide to Dungeons and Dragons. I actually learned how to play Dungeons and Dragons at my first Comic-Con.
Yes,
so it would be awesome.
I was with you.
Yeah, we were together.
That was great.
It was a great time. Like always, we were together. But yeah, it's so great to learn games like that with other people who, I mean, obviously Dungeons and Dragons is going to be played by nerdy people, but just you're already excited to be at a con and you're half of you wearing cosplay or some sort of nerdy shirt. It's really fun.
Yeah, and Dispatches from Middle Earth panel is on Saturday at 10 a.m. I just found it.
Nice. There's a cool panel at noon called Marvel's MODOK. MODOK. That stands for something, an organism intent on killing. It's just
designed only for killing.
Designed only for killing. That's right. Yeah. It's on Hulu. It's an animated series. Kind of, it feels more like something you're going to see on the Adult Swim animation.
It's kind of. It seems to me like it's Marvel's answer to the Harley Quinn series.
Yeah.
That's
I don't think I've seen that series yet.
The Harley Quinn series on HBO Max. It's so good.
What?
Oh, I just got HBO Max this weekend so I could watch Justice League. Hey, HBO Max, there you go. You succeeded in getting another viewer.
Watch the Harley Quinn.
He's on a free trial.
Watch season 1 of
more.
Street.
Of what?
Wow.
Of what, Derek?
Sesame Street. Oscar the Grouch is orange in episode 1. And Big Bird's head is like little. He's just eyes and a beak. He doesn't have the poof thing. It's
what?
Yeah, Sesame Street has
looks like an ostrich.
No idea how much it has changed since it first was on the air. You can watch it on HBO Max.
So Marvel's MODOK, noon on Saturday. The cast, including Patton Oswalt and Ben Schwartz. So that should be a very cool presentation at noon. There's also at 4 p.m. AMC's Fear the Walking Dead. The Walking Dead shows have been very faithful to WonderCon and San Diego Comic-Con, so it's cool to see they're back. Actors Lenny James, Coleman Domingo, and Jenna Elfman are there, as well as the showrunners Ian Goldberg and Andrew Chambliss. All right, guys, we only have 2 days. 2 days. Anything else on Saturday?
I'll tell you what you won't see. You won't see a Con Guy panel this year.
I know. I'm very sad.
You missed the deadline. And there's no full-time creative, is there?
No, they missed the deadline as well.
It kind of snuck up on us.
Yeah, it did.
But then again, we were dealing with a lot of other stuff. So.
Yeah, we were. And just, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I did receive an email from them. They said, let's please be in contact after April 1st to talk about our panel for San Diego Comic-Con at home. So, yay!
Which
we're going to try to pitch with you.
What's that, Ben?
Oh, I saw Derek talking, and I didn't want to get yelled at again.
I know, right?
No, I was going to say, if all y'all remember, last year was our first San Diego Comic-Con panel as the con guy, albeit online, San Diego Comic-Con at home, but it was still our first San Diego Comic-Con international panel.
Awesome.
And so that was very exciting. So I'm excited at the prospect of doing one again this year, and then who knows, maybe in 2022, we'll be down there for real.
2022, reels. All right, guys, as we wrap up the show tonight, does anybody else have anything else about WonderCon that I think they are having a cosplay? I may be wrong in this because I was looking at the wrong year when I first started looking at this. Wait. It says they're having a masquerade. Yeah, they're having a 2021 virtual masquerade competition. I have a feeling all submissions have already been turned in, but so we're going to get a chance to see the masquerade I think it's this Saturday. We'll have more information on our website. Because again, this one kind of snuck up on us as Ben grooms. Beautiful.
I just bought this on Amazon. I'm very excited about it.
My name is Jim Fry. You can find me at Jim Fry LA on Twitter, James D. Fry on Instagram. But more importantly, Samblings, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at DNAYS, also on Instagram at The Con Girls. I'm posting there with Katie. Hopefully we'll get Ben and Derek's wives on there a little bit too, because they're also very nerdy con ladies.
Yes.
And we're going to end with Jake because he has some things still to share, Mr. Jim.
Wait. Anyone who wants to, I know we're going late. If you guys
we'll go last on Jake.
So Jake's going to share he's got some cool collectibles that have been coming out. So yeah.
I was going to, Luke, you have the pictures?
Oh, yeah. So I guess we'll go into that now.
Let's share him now. Let's share him now. Let's let Ben take us up tonight. Yeah.
All right. So
So these are new from Hasbro. These are the Marvel Legends Retro series figures. So
let's get them all in there.
yeah, there you go. That's pretty much the full set. There's still a few that's not.
Wasn't there Iceman somewhere?
Yeah, there's Iceman and.
Oh, you've got Electro in there.
Yeah, so these are really fun. They're made to look like vintage, I guess, Star Wars-ish 3 3/4 inch figures. And the packaging, I think Luke has a picture of the packaging there as well.
Mm-hmm.
One of them. Yeah. So talk about nostalgia. You just see that. It's like, oh man. So these are just starting to show up in stores now. I think
we're seeing the Incredible Hulk right now, and it's got a cool, almost like poster type background. So these look really good in the box.
Yeah.
What says Kenner on it? Is this really Kenner?
No, because Hasbro bought Kenner back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So now they put that logo on it just to look like official old school.
Nice.
These were some exclusives from the Hasbro. These are variants like the metallic paint, so that's nice little.
Nice.
How tall are these, Jake?
They're only here. I actually have some with me right here. So this is a Spider-Man figure, and then just to show you the comparison, this is a vintage Boba Fett action figure.
Cool.
So that's really what they're going for. It's like, to quote, the Marvel, what if Marvel had made 3 3/4 inch action figures back in the day. So I got a pretty good collection.
We need to see these, Jake, in full scale right now.
That's my daughter Zoe, and I did not let her play with that. I let her pose for the picture.
It's not a choking hazard when they're this size.
It's not a children's toy, but she was really eyeing it up, and I was like, all right. So I let her hold it for a second. She didn't try to put it in her mouth or anything. So
that's fantastic.
And then her first words were, "I love you 3000." After
there you go.
Beginning of this figure.
And then last thing, real quick, Luke, do you have the doc pictures?
First, let me do these.
Oh yeah. So these are from Super 7. These are the same kind of idea, like the 3 3/4 inch figures, Back to the Future. Very cool. Like the packaging is similar, but it has like the poster kind of art and stuff. So
who do we got?
Oh, I'm sorry. We have Marty, Doc, and Doc in the 50s with the big, science helmet, and then Marty in the radiation suit. Darth Vader from Planet Vulcan.
The one thing I was noticing
Who
about
does Einstein come with?
Yeah.
Doc.
Because
Doc, yeah.
Like the one thing I noticed, put that picture back up, Luke. The face. Remember, if you look really close at the face, it looks like Joe Biden. Kind of does. It has a Joe Biden look.
Come on, man.
There you go.
President Joe Biden. I'm sorry. All right.
And then last one. Do you have the NECA?
Last but not least.
So when I showed this to Luke. I love his reaction. He was just like, "Well, there's another $30 gone. I got to get that one now."
That's
so this is from NECA. There's their Ultimate collection. There's Ultimate Doc Brown from 2015.
Which
how
goes
big are these
perfect
things?
with
what's that?
With the Marty.
Wait. How big are those, Jake?
Those are I think they're 7-inch figures.
Because the detail on the face is so much more intense.
That's NECA. They're
beyond.
They're amazing. Oh yeah, so Luke has the Marty right there. Yeah, super cool stuff.
Well, by the
They
way,
just keep robbing me of all my money, and then they keep coming out with new ones. They're coming out with Griff 2 now. They kind of secretly announced, but they haven't shown this full figure yet.
And also, Luke, I think I showed you. They showed a sneak peek. They're going to do a full size to scale for like the 7-inch figures of Bruce the Shark from Jaws. So it's going to be like.
Shut up.
They showed us. I don't think. Did I not show you that? They showed.
No, you did not.
One of the designers was holding it up by the tail, and everyone was just like, "What? No!"
It's gonna be like 2 feet long.
Yeah, it's like.
I've been wondering about that for the longest time because I've like in the background here, I got all my different ones, but like none of them like have that real Bruce look, and I'm like, when are they going to make a figure that looks just like them?
All this stuff? Most of this stuff here is all NECA figures. These are all the Ninja Turtle figures from the movie, and then there's a couple back here, like all this stuff. Like they're really cool stuff. Check them out.
Cool. Hey, by the way, just to tag on to what Jake just said about the collectibles at WonderCon this weekend, they are going to be having a lot of exhibitors and vendors with exclusives to WonderCon. So be checking them out. And if they did like they did last year, Jake, did you get on their website? Because last year they released them just during the convention. A lot of what they were releasing, which was cool.
I was able to get a couple. It's in a way it's nicer because you know,
You don't have to say the line.
it also gives more people the ability to get it as opposed to people who only can go to the convention. But then it's also very hard. You have to be like right on it because these sell out like instantly. You know? So
Jake, if people want to follow you and all of your collecting, where do they do it online?
You can find me on Instagram at the Jacoba System.
Cool. All right. And Jake, are you going to be looking at anything this weekend?
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be scoping some stuff out. I'm always on the hunt, as they say.
Cool. If you find anything, let us know. Cheeseman, where can people find you?
Well, I don't have a lot of toys to share right now, but you can find me on Instagram at cheeseoncouch, also on Twitter, and also on theconguy.com.
All right, Ben, take us out.
Hey everyone, it's me. Oh, buddy Ben.
Not much party left, but you know.
You can find me at BENKLIEWER, and I wouldn't have brought this up, but I did find it. I realized in the comments that it actually affects one of our viewers. So Jim, I don't know if you could bring up this comment from Marvel Universe that was a bit longer a little while ago, around 9:30. Yeah, there we go. So Marvel Universe, and thank you for watching the show tonight. We really appreciate you being supportive of our program. He says, it's nice being here to talk about comics. I live in Boulder, Colorado. There has just been a shooting in Denver. 10 innocent people died out of nowhere. It was in a King Soopers, which is a grocery store there. And it's getting scarier. And I would, like I said, we try to keep the show all on the positive and try to keep it uplifting as much as we can. And I think this is an opportunity to at least try to inject that theme into of our show into this kind of thing. You know, there's a lot of people that are angry. There's a lot of people that are suffering because of the way things have gone for the last year. And some of that is because, you know, people didn't do things that they should have, and other was stuff that was completely out of our hands. And so there are people that are angry. There are people that are hurting. There are people that are suffering from mental health, and we don't know any of the really details on the situation. But from all of us here at the Con Guy, thank you so much, Marvel Universe, for watching the program tonight. I know it's a scary time there, and we're hoping that this show could have brought you some peace and just some comfort tonight in just talking about comics and movies and TV shows. That's what we're here for, and that's what we want to focus on. We want to focus on the great things that we love that bring us together as people, and not the things that separate us. And so I just want to leave us with this. You know, we come together on this show to talk about the things that we love, to talk about the things that that have brought us together and really helped us to grow as friends. And in doing that, just care about each other, take care of each other, you know, love thy neighbor, and just be there for each other. And let's focus on what brings us together.
Amen, Ben. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And hopefully we'll see you guys this weekend at WonderCon. And always remember, love each other, be nice to each other. Luke had a great message for us last week. Love your friends. You know, you don't know how long you have them for. And love your parents. I know if my mom's on here, I had a parental health scare just today and kind of threw me for a loop. So, you know, love your mom, call your mom, love your dad, love each other. And guys, we'll see you at the cons. What was it that Bill and Ted said? Be excellent. Good night, everybody.